Hi beauties, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about bronzers, specifically for deeper skin tones. Now if you have a lighter skin tone, this video is for you too, because I have seen these bronzers be used by people with all types of skin tones. But I am talking to women who have deeper skin tones like myself, because I have struggled so much with finding bronzers that work for me. I'm going to talk to you guys about bronzers that have worked, and I'm also going to tell you a few bronzers that I would say you might want to skip. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for joining me again for today's video. And if you're new to my channel, you know what to do. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of my uploads. Now I have filmed another video today, so you're going to see this look twice. Dosh. So I recently filmed a video about the Butter Bronzer in the shade Deep. That is a new shade in their product line. And that kind of inspired me to just talk to you guys about other bronzers in my collection that have worked and have not worked for me, because it's kind of difficult as a woman of color sometimes to find bronzers that work, and sometimes I waste my money. A lot of times I waste my money. If you're new to makeup and you're hearing all this buzz about bronzers and highlighters and contouring and concealer, and you're like, where have I been? Under a rock? You are not by yourself. I really was not bronzing and contouring or doing any of that until a few years ago, but I really like the look. For the most part, the reason you need bronzer is to add color back into your face after you have used concealer to highlight with, and you have on powder products, and it sometimes washes out a lot of your natural color, and you use bronzer to put the color back. So that is why we use it. And a lot of times bronzers are just not made for deeper skin tones. And I sometimes wonder if that's because up until recently I wasn't using it, and I wonder if that's the case for a lot of African American women and women of color. They just maybe weren't using bronzers before, and so they weren't being made for us. But now we are hip to it and we are using them, and we would like for you to make them for us as well. So let's talk. I haven't ranked them or anything like that, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Guerlain. A lot of these are pricey. A lot of these are expensive, I'll tell you guys. When it comes to bronzer, I don't mind spending more money because it's difficult to find bronzers that will work for me. So I'll go ahead and spend more money if it's going to work. So the first bronzer that I purchased was the Guerlain bronzer, and I actually was trying to order this one that is the Terracotta bronzer number 7, and I ordered it on Amazon, and they sent me this one, which is the 4 Seasons. It came in a little velvet pouch, ooh, and it looks all expensive. And it is expensive. The Terracotta bronzer is cheaper than this one, just by a little bit. So they sent me the more expensive bronzer. This one is in the shade number 5, and it's 4 Seasons, and it is meant to have these different variations of the shade so that as your skin complexion changes, you can use this bronzer throughout the year, and you can use the lighter ones when it is winter. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why it's 4 Seasons. I have hit pan here, and I have used this one quite a bit. So I used this one, and it is really good for deeper skin tone. This is a matte bronzer. I'm just going to kind of rub these. I use these together. I just do that, guys. This is the number 5. Okay? My arm obviously is darker than my face, and it's showing up on my arm. So that should give you an idea of the pigment. Okay, so let's do the number 7. So I went ahead and ordered the number 7 because it is a little deeper, I think, than the number 5. And they both have a fragrance. So if you don't like fragrance in your makeup, you might not like these. So this is the number 7, and you should be able to tell that it is a little darker. And to me, this one looks a little cooler, and this is a little warmer as well. My number 7 almost looks like it hasn't even had a dent in it. It started getting a little hard, and I had to scrape the top in order to get the bronzer. So this is what 7 looks like. This is number 5. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my watch because I think I'm gonna need that space. Those were the first bronzers that I purchased. They work beautifully, and everyone was talking about them. Let's try to alternate them, and let's talk about one that didn't work for me. I hate to even put this one up here. This is a $125 Tom Ford bronzer. It does work, but it is light and I didn't put it in my disappointing video in the past because I spent so much money on it and I was kind of still trying to see if it would work. But honestly, I just shouldn't have purchased it. It is barely visible on me. See how it's just blending into my skin? So it does put color back into the skin. It will work for that, but it's not going to deepen your skin and add dimension. And so even though it's beautiful and it just felt like silk going on my arm, I would say pass on that because it is not worth $125 to barely get any color payoff if you're a woman of color. I'll still use this product because maybe I'll mix it in with other products just to get the texture and all of that, but don't do it. Don't do it. Another bronzer that I like, this is the MAC Dark Deepest. This is a mineralized skin finish. So it's not a bronzer, but a lot of people use it as a bronzer. Sandra Deluxe loves this, and this is what it looks like. So this is the mineralized skin finish right here. It is very buttery, silky, creamy. It actually feels a lot like that Tom Ford, and it is just deep enough. So the Tom Ford one, as you can see, would have worked if it was just a little bit deeper. This one is deep enough. So beautiful, gorgeous. It's gonna add this nice radiant look. I love it. Another one I didn't like, the Hoola bronzer. This is the mini, thank goodness. That was the mini. Okay, ooh, it's actually showing up a little bit more here on my swatch, guys. Might need to give this one another try. Okay, it does show up a little bit. It's not all that dark. And so I think it needs to be a little bit darker. Maybe one of the reasons I don't get as much out of it is because it's in this box. And maybe it's harder to actually get the product on your brush so that you can get the deepest pigment. But it is not deep enough if you're my complexion or darker. There are other bronzers that are better. Let me go ahead and talk about, this is probably one of my favorites. This is like, has been the favorite for a while. This is the BECCA Ipanema or Ipanema Sun, however you say it, and it looks like this. This is the next to deepest BECCA shade. There is one that is deeper. I think it is Maui Nights. So if you have a deeper skin tone than me, BECCA does have a deeper one. It looks sort of reddish. Definitely go check out the ones by BECCA. So that one is one of my top ones. It is gorgeous. This is a sunlit bronzer, so it's beautiful during the summer. You gotta go test this out and swatch it because I think you'll love it. I love this one. Okay, next, another one that wasn't a favorite. This is a Chanel bronzer, and Jaclyn Hill talked about this. This is one of these kind of creamy bronzers, and I didn't put this one on my list of disappointing products either because sometimes this works for me. Like with certain foundations and products, sometimes I'm able to get it to work. So I didn't want to put it on the list, but I got to put it on the list. I don't want you guys to go out and buy this product, especially if you watch any of my older videos and I'm using this because look at it. Can you even see this? Look at that. Like these first two are a little bit deeper and they do show up on the skin a little bit, but this little Chanel product doesn't show up hardly at all. So it's almost the color of my foundation. So if I just want to make my face look like my foundation, so if I highlight it and I just want to make it look back the way it was, like my foundation around the edges, it will allow me to do that, but it won't add dimension. I think it's $50. And I'm telling you guys because these things are pricey and I just don't want you to go buying them. Don't want you, it's not worth it. The bronzer that I am wearing today is Dark by Bobbi Brown. So I'm wearing the dark bronzer, but I also contoured with my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. And I think this is the lighter, like the light to medium contour palette. So there is one deeper than this. And if you're new to contour and bronzing, I would say start with the Anastasia palette. This one's in the shade Dark, okay? This is the Deep. I hear more people talking about the shade Deep. This is Dark. I'm running out of space, guys. And notice, look how red this is, okay? I love the red tints or undertones in my bronzers. I like that look. But if you don't like that, don't choose dark. If you don't want that kind of look, don't go with that one. All right, so there's Deep. Very effortless, will bronze the skin. Gorgeous bronzers, so worth it. Another one that did not work is this Butter bronzer in the original color. And we're gonna swatch it here. It smells beautiful, but that's what it looks like. I don't even really need to talk about that one. And that one is just too light. Moving on. Okay, one that I used for quite a bit in the very beginning is this one by Too Faced. It's the Dark Chocolate Soleil. This is a matte bronzer. Okay, so that is what the Too Faced one looks like. I tried putting it on my hand over here, but it looks like that, okay? So it does work for women of color, and I did like it for a long time. It was one of my go-tos, so if you fancy that one, it will work for you, okay? I purchased this other one by Too Faced, and I just talked about this in another video, a recent video, and this one is like the gold collection. It has this gold shimmer in it, guys, and see, it's almost looking like this butter bronzer. It kind of looks a lot like butter bronzer, but look at that. There, look at that. That's why I don't like it. That it is the Chocolate Gold Soleil. And I thought it was going to be kind of like the dark chocolate, but it's not. I'm going to still keep trying to use it. What I noticed is that it kind of has this shimmer, and maybe it would be a pretty finishing powder. I think that that's more of how I might use this. But don't buy this thinking it's going to be a matte bronzer with a darker shade and just add a glow. That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be like my matte bronzer but with a glow. But no, that's not what it is. I'm going to talk about one that I'm on the fence about. This is the NARS bronzer in Casino. And I used this one a lot when I first got it. And it does work for deeper skin tones. So it is going to show up on deeper skin tones. And I'm going to try it again. I used to use it just as much as this Too Faced one, and I'm putting it beside Too Faced. This right here is the Casino, and that's Too Faced. So it shows up on my skin tone. For some reason, whenever I use this bronzer and I look back at my footage, when I filmed it, I felt like it had a gray cast. I didn't end up liking the finished look, so I stopped using it as much, but for a long time I used it all the time. So I don't know if it just didn't work with the contour products I was using or that particular foundation. I'm not sure, but anytime I would watch it back, I always felt gray, like gray brown. So enter at your own risk with this one. It does work for deeper skin tones, so it's not about whether it will work. I just didn't end up liking the color as much as I like some of the other ones. All right, I'm going to end on a positive note. You guys have been hearing me talk about this one. This is an affordable bronzer, and I don't have as many of those as you could tell that I am recommending to you guys because I haven't really been able to find them. I have heard that Black Radiance is really good for deeper skin tones. I think that it is more of a powder that people use as bronzers. I think they cost about $5. Someone here recommended that to me. They have a lot of bronzers for deeper skin tones. This one is by Absolute New York. This is a recent discovery of mine. It reminds me of the BECCA bronzer that I showed you guys. The Ipanema Sun is like so soft and buttery, and I'm just blown away by this particular one. This is in the shade Dark. It is very, very affordable. I think I paid $8 for it. I found it at a beauty supply store. So if you can find this one, this is a really great bronzer that is affordable. This is my bronzer collection, but you don't really need all of these bronzers. I recommend all of the ones that are over here on my arm. I recommend them all. Just whichever one you kind of were drawn to, go for it. If you're lighter than me, then some of these other ones will work for you as well. There was nothing wrong with the quality of any of the bronzers that I showed you on this arm. It was all about color. I couldn't get the color to really pay off for me, and so I wouldn't tell you to jump on these. Go ahead and jump on these. So that concludes my video of all of my bronzer recommendations. If you have any questions about the products that I featured here today, be sure to leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Also, like this video if you found it to be helpful. Make sure that you do that. If you give me a thumbs up, it really helps to push my video out there for more people to discover it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of my uploads. So I'll be seeing you guys again very soon in my next video. So until the next time we meet again, this is Savvy signing out.